Yeah.
All right, well, we're 5 minutes in. I think with the quorum here, we can just go ahead and bang out a couple of these things.
Okay, sounds good. We're live now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I guess first of all, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from October 20th.
So moved.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Todd?
That's unanimous. Todd
And
Glowick.
then you want to talk to us about any new business here?
Yeah, so coming up on December 1st is the classification hearing with the Board of Selectmen. I sent out a preliminary packet, and I say it's preliminary, and it's basically the same packet as years past. The tax rate right now appears to be going from $13.50 down to $13.34. If it's going to change, it's only going to be a penny or so. It's not, it's pretty close to where it's going to end up. We're finalizing the recap, and part of that finalization was last night's town meeting. So now that the special town meeting's over, Nancy's been working hard on. She has the hardest part on the recap, filling in 99% of it. But we did get our values certified. We got our new growth certified, which was much higher than anticipated. Last year was certified in the mid-900s. This year was certified for $1,223,000. And I'm going to suggest to the Financial Forecast Committee that, that trend's going to... It's going to be maintained. God bless you. But what you may notice in the information that I gave out in that little classification presentation, that the commercial values basically stay the same. They only went up a few tenths of a percent, while the residential, as you know, has been very aggressive. The market's been strong, and the average value went up 4.8%. So this year, the average increase on residential appears to be around 3.5%, and the average increase on the average bill for commercial is about 1%. Even with that being said, because we only have a 4% commercial base, and times are even worse than they were a year ago when these values are based on, my recommendations to the board is to vote to maintain a single tax rate and recommend that to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, is that a motion that we pass in executive session, or is that a motion we can pass right here?
You can pass that as a public motion, and then whoever draws the short straw and has to go to the selectmen's meeting can say that the board took a vote and either recommended a single rate, or we can talk about the impacts of this of a shift. But even a 10% shift on that second to last page I gave you would save the average taxpayer $35 while increasing the average commercial taxpayer $1,100. So we're just not in a position to shift.
I don't feel that we should still be a single rate.
Right.
John, what are your thoughts?
There's no justification to have a dual rate at this point.
I don't think we're even close to having that conversation yet.
This town cannot get to that point until business section, greatly increased. It's not going to happen, and we're not like Hanover or Norwell or Marshfield or even Hingham that has a commercial Plymouth that has a commercial business section that's creating a lot of generating a lot of revenue. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, you look at some of these figures, like in Plymouth and some of these other towns that have a higher business rate. I'm like, they're still single rate.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
The fact that you have COVID going on, and we're dealing with retail. Retail is a dying breed right now. Who knows what that's going to be? So it just makes no sense to have a two rate system. Certainly not here.
Okay. So it sounds like we're in agreement then, and I feel that Steve would probably feel the same as he has in previous years.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move that the town of Scituate maintains a single tax rate for the 2021.
For 2021, so that's your recommendation to the Board of Selectmen to vote a single tax rate?
I'll second that. Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Todd, aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Unanimous.
And would,
Fantastic. Is there any other new business, or are there any walk-ins?
there's no walk-ins. And as far as, just to put a bow on this, do either of you want to do that presentation?
Sure, I'll do it.
Oh, you win, Todd. Well, so I'll keep the board abreast of any changes in the proposed tax rate on this, based on a single tax rate. All that information will be updated prior to December 1st, and then I'll get instructions for Todd and I to get on the Zoom call for the hearing on the 1st, where usually it's advertised as a 7 o'clock hearing, so normally we are at the top of the agenda, but that's still
You're
a
saying
couple
7
weeks.
p.m., correct?
7 p.m., yes. Yep.
I'll put that on my calendar right now. Okay, and then I'll follow up with you, Joe, to get information.
Yes, yep. I appreciate it. The other new business was a local option that's been brought to our attention from not only staff, but also the veterans agent and a veteran himself. Currently, the law requires a person to be a resident in Massachusetts for 2 years prior to being able to be eligible for a veterans exemption. There is a local option to move that 2 years to 1 year. And I'm requesting the board to put an article on the special town meeting in the spring so that it would be retroactive to July 1st this year. So they would qualify with a 1 year residency for fiscal '21.
How many of our constituents would that apply to?
Say that again, Todd? I'm sorry.
How many veterans would this allow in? How many exemptions would we be able to grant?
One additional.
Is that just the one that we have attached to this email as well?
Yeah, exact. No, actually, no, it's not that person. That is a new applicant, but they meet the residency requirement. Right.
We had a veteran apply for the exemption that we had to deny.
We didn't deny it. We just put it aside. In the event that the board decided to put this article on the special town meeting. So what would happen is, by virtual law, most likely the application would be deemed denied, but then if town meeting did approve it, that applicant would be eligible to be granted the exemption this year, as opposed to having to wait a year. So
I have absolutely no problem with this. I am 100% for this local option.
yeah,
John, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I was just thinking, so this is basically an exemption of all property taxes for any veteran who is deemed disabled.
Well, no, it's not. No, it's just an exemption.
So it could be any of the veterans exemptions. One of them would be 100%, but most times it's a 10% service-connected disability, which is $400.
Yeah, and we go through it. Yeah, I have no problems with this. This makes sense. All we're doing is reducing it from 2 years to 1 year.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's right? Yeah. And it's sooner the better. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I will then make a motion to accept the local option acceptance for property tax exemption on veterans residency requirement.
I'll second that discussion, and that is, Joe, I think, and Todd, you're chair, so not that I'm trying to boost you up, whatever, but I think, since this would be our article, or is it going to be the Board of Selectmen's article that they are going to adopt?
I am going to submit this as a request by the Board of Assessors. I've done that in the past, and it has come out the other way. Okay.
I think, Todd, I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying, I think it's good if the Board of Assessors are promoting this and they're going to support it. I think it's good that the board gets its recognition in front of the town meeting, knowing that that's what, and being the chair, Todd, I'm saying, for what percent, I think you should. Or if somebody else wants to, but it's a good thing that the Board of Selectmen don't usurp it because it's come from the assessors. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I absolutely do not want to present in front of town, so if that's something you would want to do, I'd be all for it.
Okay. Well, I get it. Oh, Steve, I'm just saying because I think it's a good thing that people understand what does the Board of Assessors do. Well, we come up with this local option. It's a good idea, and it just gives people an idea that But anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, I just don't want to present.
Later. No?
I'll let one of the lawyers do that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not really my bag.
Well, that's all right.
Fine, entire town, yeah. Okay, so discussion. Any other discussion? I feel Steve would be for this as well. Again, I think with our quorum, we can just go ahead and vote this in, though, John.
Yeah, I do. I'll move to accept a proposed article for local option acceptance of property tax exemption for veterans residency requirement.
I think we already had the motion. We were just discussing. I think we can just go ahead and vote on it now.
We did. No, we did. Yeah, aye. I'm for it.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, yep. I'm an aye as well. Okay, so that passes, Joe.
Okay, so that's unanimous, and now we're into executive session.
Okay.
We'll go into executive session.
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Todd? Okay. Thank you.
Okay,